Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you all. Jared Johnson here. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We are coming into a pretty big holiday week. We've got Christmas coming up this coming weekend, which is going to close down a lot of major markets that we trade. So it might be a little bit of a slow week this week, but I think at least the first part of the week we've got a couple of interesting setups to work with. So I wanted to make sure that we had a couple of trade ideas going into this shorter holiday week, because there's still probably some pretty good opportunities that we can take advantage of before we all take kind of a big break and take a couple of days off and so on. Okay. So real quick, you can see where all of these big bank holidays start: Australia, New Zealand, Europe, UK, Canada, US. Everybody pretty much checks out on Thursday, the 24th, and we even have a little bit of that happening on Wednesday, the 23rd. Again with Christmas and Christmas Eve and all of that. So a lot of the major markets are going to slow down. Volume's going to dry up a bit, and probably see a pretty big slowdown there. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think could be pretty interesting. We've got some GDP numbers coming on Tuesday. We don't have any significant news on Monday, but we've got some GDP news coming on Tuesday, with some trade balance from New Zealand. And then on Wednesday, we've got some decent Canadian and UK news, so that could kind of get things going a little bit. Plus, we've got durable goods for the US, so I think we could see some pretty decent activity there. So I'm kind of looking for that to, keep the volume going, keep things running and rocking and rolling in the market. We've got a bit of news to keep an eye on this week. Particularly, we want to watch and see how oil does and how U.S. markets do. We can see that on Friday, the Dow closed down 367 points. Pretty big down day, down a little over 2%. S&P closed almost 2% down. Pretty big, pretty bad day. So volatility is kind of our friend when it comes to currencies. It usually causes some pretty big movement. There are only 3 currency pairs that I am interested in trading this week. And again, because we're going to pretty much cut the week in half with holiday stuff happening at the end of the week, we have some limited setups. Basically, what I want to do on the euro dollar, dollar Canadian, and pound yen are the 3 currency pairs I'm interested in this week. The euro dollar has some pretty significant activity at this 10800 area. We hit 10800 back here, and it bounced. It's a great support zone. It's a number that a lot of traders are watching. We came off that pretty strong, and we've made another run at 10800. This is starting to look like a little kind of short-term head and shoulders pattern. We might have some shoulder activity ahead, and we may be coming up to form that right shoulder, with the possibility of 10800 being our neckline. Basically, at this point, and this could definitely change as we go into the new year and so on. But at this point, I want to be short at the break of 10800. If 10800 breaks, I want to be in that. I want to be trading that back down to 105 and and even beyond 105. But I'm kind of looking for 105 if we can get through 108. If 108 holds, then we may have some opportunities for this bigger bull flag to continue kind of playing out. And so we'll just kind of see how that goes. But at this point, I'm watching this big double bottom at 108. If that breaks, I want to be short. And then we'll just kind of watch it from there. So short below 10800 on euro dollar, I think, is going to be one of our very best bets here. So that's really kind of what I'm looking for on euro dollar. We'll see how that plays out. I sent a video out to everybody Thursday afternoon about the dollar CAD and about the fact that I wanted to wait for one more push to 140 on dollar CAD, and then I want to short it, and I made that video right in this general area here. Several hours later, it pushed up to basically exactly 140 on the dot and proceeded to drop 150 pips. So very nice little move there. I know a bunch of people in my group made money on that. Hopefully you guys were able to make some money on that. I'm still looking for some reactionary movement off of this 140 level on dollar CAD. So it hit 140, it came off it. You can see we're about 70 pips off 140. I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to be looking for some opportunities to find some nice price patterns and so on to continue shorting this off of 140. So I'm not just going to have a pending order to short at 140. I'm going to watch price action, see if there's any kind of additional confirmation to get me into the trade. But I like shorting dollar CAD at and below 140. If it starts to move much above 140, I don't want to give it a lot of room because it could be breaking that big high that we talked about back in 2004, which is 140. It's the last time the dollar CAD was at 140. And if it makes much of a break above that, it could be just continuing higher. So I'm looking at that as a trading opportunity this week, and we'll see how that develops, and we may have some nice opportunities there. There's a lot of other pairs, and I've looked through a lot of them pretty heavily, but really the only other one that I'm interested in at this point is the pound yen. We had two monster trades on the pound yen in the group last week. We made a little over 400 pips on one position and a little over 200 pips on another trade that we had on the pound yen. So collectively, nearly 700 pips last week on the pound yen alone. It was just a great mover. We made some excellent pips on this one. Probably some of our biggest trades pip-wise in the group in a very long time. 400 plus pips on one trade alone. So we had a really nice run there. The pound yen ran fantastically well, and it's playing out with this large head and shoulders pattern that I've been talking to everybody about. So we traded the break of that trend line, break of that initial neckline there, and now we're down to all of this double and triple bottom zone, which is 180.35. 180.35 has turned out to be a very interesting level. We've got a big double bottom here at 180.35. We had that huge move down, slammed into it, bounced off it just a little bit, and now we're pulling up off of 180.35. Here are two trading opportunities I'm looking for. There's a short-term one, and then there's the bigger, longer-term movement. I actually want to trade the pound yen long at the break of the high of this little candle right here. This candle has a high of about 181.20. That's only just 20, or it's only about 10 pips away. It's not even very far at all. If we break that high, which also happens to be our 23% fib on this most recent rundown, I think we've got a pretty good chance of making a run at the 38% fib and or the weekly pivot point. That weekly pivot point's up around 181.80, and our 38% fibs around 181.70. So if we break this 181.20, I'm just looking for a quick little grab of pips up into that 181.70-80 area, which is, a nice, easy. It's an easy 40 plus pips. And so I think we've got a really good opportunity for that. So that's just a little kind of side note. Watch for that. Look for a break of that high. It happens to be at an important fib level, and we happen to have a nice weekly pivot up here. When that goes, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to sell the pound yen at some higher prices here, and I'll let you know how that plays out. But my default kind of all else fails entry is going to be to continue shorting pound yen at the break of 180.35. Because remember, this is a big significant level, but this huge head and shoulders is only getting started on the pound yen. I think there's a lot more to go on this one. So this is a huge head and shoulders. We've broken our trend line. We're possibly going to come all the way back up and test that at some higher prices, maybe up in the mid 180s even. But I definitely want to be short at the break of 180.35. For group members, I will be examining some entries and some possibilities of where we can get in short at a higher price. We may be looking for around the 18200 area. We'll see how this plays out, but definitely we want to be short 180, the break of 180.35. But for the meantime, a little quick short-term trade on up from the break of this high and the 23% fib up for 30, 40, 50 pips. Should be a fantastic opportunity there. So just pound yen has some really specific levels for us. Euro dollar has some really specific ones for us, and then dollar CAD is going to be kind of watching and seeing how price action goes and how it behaves around that 140, and if we're going to have another opportunity to short it off of 140. So that's what I'm looking for. very, very best of luck to everybody. I'll have some updates coming out this week. For members, we're going to have some live sessions on Tuesday and Wednesday morning, and then we'll call it good there, and we'll take Thursday and Friday off for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then we'll have some time off next week as well. But we've got some pretty fantastic opportunities right now that I want to take advantage of. So very best of luck to everybody. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And more updates are to come. Thanks, guys.
Be wise.